Hi everyone, Adam here, and welcome to this presentation on predicting vowel length. As you know, Swedish vowels can be either short or long, and in this video I will explain how this reflects in the spelling of the language. If you want to learn more about the different pronunciations of long and short vowels, I suggest you take a look at the video called Vowels, Part 2. Okay, let's begin. First of all, it's important to know that the question whether a vowel is long or not only concerns stressed syllables. If a vowel is unstressed, it's going to be short, as in flicka, idé, saker, doktor. Alright, so we're dealing with stressed vowels. Let's see what the rules are. The general rule on how to predict the length of a vowel is to see how many consonants there are following it. If one or no consonants follow the vowel, then it's long. Å, vi, skri, ås, vit, skrin. Note that the preceding amount of consonants doesn't matter at all. There can be anything from 0 to 3 consonants, it changes nothing. On the other hand, if 2 or more consonants follow the vowel, then it's short. Hatt, pack, sam, hast, pakt, sam. That's essentially it for the most part. But we have a lot of exceptions and a lot of alternative patterns to go through if we want to have a clear picture of how it all works. Let's look at the long vowels. As you remember, these appear in a stressed syllable when followed by one or no consonants. I, le, frys, äta, tia, spela. Exceptions are the consonant combinations RL, RD, RN, and LN, which all require a long vowel. Pärla, bord, örn, moln. As for the short vowels, they appear when they are stressed and followed by 2 or more consonants. Ett, asp, tack, häst, äkta, vatten. I want to stress that when a stressed vowel is short and followed by a single consonantal sound, this consonant is long. Penna is pronounced penna, and the long N is more similar to the English word penknife than the word penny. It's a common mistake by learners of Swedish not to distinguish clearly enough between long and short sounds, especially in the consonants. Think of it like this. You probably have no problem pronouncing pasta with a short vowel and both consonants. Pasta. The word passa is just the same, but the S is long. Passa. Treating the double letters as 2 separate sounds to be pronounced might help you remember to keep the consonant long and the vowel properly short. Anyway, when it comes to short vowels, there are some problematic cases, or rather, some problematic letters. Let's start with the not actually problematic ones. The letter X is always preceded by a short vowel because it's actually 2 sounds and could just as well have been spelled KS. Sex, häxa, saxa. Likewise, the letter J is always long and thus preceded by a short vowel. The vowel is never long before it. Nej, vaja, grejer. Also, just to make sure, some combinations such as NG and RS do refer to single sounds, but in this case you can actually trust the spelling and treat them as 2 consonants. Sång, fors, sjunga. Okay, on to the problematic ones. The 2 letters that will be giving you trouble are M and N. This is because when it comes to these 2 letters, the spelling is highly inconsistent. The letter M is usually long, with a short vowel preceding it. When M is the last letter of a word, however, it's generally written only with a single letter, despite being long, as in kom, hem, and dum. Between vowels, it's usually written double, as in komma and hemma. Not always, though. In döma, for instance, the M is still long. In a few cases, the M actually is short, as in dam and lam. In most of these cases, the words with a short vowel that would otherwise look the same are spelled with 2 M's. Dam, lam. As a general rule though, assume that a vowel is short before an M, even if only one is spelled out. The letter N is the trickiest of them, because supposedly it follows the rules. Short N is written with one N, and long N is written with two N's, as in fina and finna. For most words, this is true and works just fine. But in a lot of common words, N is written only once, despite being long. This is common in frequent words such as pronouns and particles, for example, han, in, men. But it also happens with some common verbs and nouns such as kan, man, vän. Note that this only ever happens at the end of words. When we add more syllables, we change our minds and write two N's, like we should have done from the beginning. Kunna, mannen, vänner. In between vowels, there is something else that we need to take a look at. As I've shown, two consonants will make the preceding vowel short, but in this situation, we find an exception. For example, words like putsa and vakta follow the rules as expected. But if the second consonant of a medial combination is an R, L, or an N, the preceding vowel will actually be long in most cases. Vakna, kavla, segra. If we want to mark a short vowel in such cases, we have to double the first consonant. Öppna, hyckla, fnittra. Consonants who tend to always be long are generally not affected by this though. Lämna, agna. We can relate these words to other forms related to them. For instance, the verb segra is connected to the noun seger. Likewise, the verb vakna makes you think of the adjective vaken. You can see the pattern here. The nouns and adjectives have a long vowel and a single consonant. The verbs have had the E chopped off, but the length remains still. If the core of a word, so to speak, has a long vowel, then it will tend to remain long even if the word is changed. For example, indefinite segel becomes seglet when definite. Two consonants, but the vowel is long in the word's core, and so it remains when we change it to the definite. And this brings us to the most important part of vowel length, namely the part that goes against everything that I've told you thus far. Because there is a large number of words with a long vowel followed by two consonants, and this is something to watch out for. But before you freak out about this seemingly endless irregularity, let me tell you that there is a distinct pattern here. Basically, when a vowel is long and followed by two consonants, this is because the second consonant is not part of the basic word, but has been added on later. Let me give you an example. Fint. This is pronounced with a long I and two consonants. This is because the basic form of this word is fin, with a long vowel and a single consonant. When we then add the neuter t, the vowel remains long because, as I told you, if the vowel is long in a word's basic form, it tends to remain long even if the word is changed. This is essentially what this is about. If we add endings on verbs and adjectives that originally have only a single consonant, their long vowels will remain long. Gult, sjukt, sökte, läst. All of this means that you need to be able to recognize the original word when you want to know if the vowel is long or not, but most of the time context will help you with that. Is this word pronounced fint or fint? Well, it depends. Is it the adjective fin in the neuter form, or is it the noun meaning a faint? In one case, the t is a grammatical ending, and in the other, the t is part of the word's basic form. Alone, you can't know. But when actually using the language, context will show you what word is meant because the two are not very likely to be used in the same way in a real sentence. If, however, the original word ends in the same consonant as the one added, this will change the vowel length. For example, the neuter form of vit is vitt, and the past tense of betyda is betydde. Finally, I want to give a special mention to the letter S. This letter marks possession, and in this usage it functions just as you would expect. En skogs alla fåglar means all birds of a forest, and as expected, the O in skog remains long because S is a grammatical ending. But in many compound words and in many fixed expressions, this S has become integrated into the word, thus shortening the vowel. Examples of this include till havs, dagsverke, stadshus. This is not an absolute rule, but it is something to watch out for. Okay, that's about it. Not the most straightforward or intuitive system, but at least it's not as bad as it sometimes seems to appear. As long as you find the stress, check the number of consonants, and are aware of grammatical endings, you should be able to predict whether the vowel is long or not in the vast majority of cases. Of course, because a language is never strictly rule-bound, you're going to encounter a lot of exceptions. That's just how languages work, I'm afraid. For example, the neuter form of hög is pronounced högt, and stövel is, as you hear, pronounced with a short vowel. Some words, such as mögla, can be pronounced with either a short or a long vowel. But exceptions like these are still exceptions, and most words do follow the rules. Just be open to the possibility of finding new words that don't, and you'll be just fine. And with that, I say thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos about the Swedish language.